Hey guys, hope everyone had a good week this week. To start the episode off, we're going to talk about EA Play, which we had last night or Friday early morning for us in the UK. So this was EA's big sort of E3 conference where we normally expect them to see all the new updates for current games and also games that have got they're working on and they're going to come out later this year and into next year. So just first impressions of the event, I was quite disappointed with what they revealed. Really, they updated us on a few games and that, and obviously I'll get into that. There's some great features that are coming with EA games. But yeah, there's really no games coming out this year for next gen PS5, Xbox Series X. And they sort of just teased a little bit at the end what we can expect next year and beyond, really. But I'll post that trailer at the end of the segment. So to start off with, we had Apex Legends. So Apex Legends is heading to Switch and Steam, and it will also support crossplay later this year, which is great. So introducing more platforms. It's got 70 million player base so far, which is huge. Switch, that'd be a strange game on Switch to play, especially with the Joy-Con. So I'd definitely recommend getting probably like a Switch, like a Pro controller or something. And we also got a Lost Treasures event coming on the 23rd of June. And that will see the return of Armed and Dangerous Evolved, the limited mode that will only allow snipers and shotguns. It will also introduce a mobile spawn beacon that each player will have at the start of each match. Be careful, however, because the respawn stations across the map will be gone. A new area, Crypto's Map Room, will give players a new look at what motivates Crypto. There'll also be exclusive content and cosmetics that can be earned by completing challenges. I'm sure there'll be like an in-game sort of store as well, especially for the event, which will have items you can buy with like the currency you can buy off of the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, and that. They're only about 1,800 coins, so only about £20. But yeah, the event looked cool. Had some really cool skins involved in it. And the thing I found interesting most about this is with the crossplay, it will support all platforms. And if you've watched any like Apex on PC and that, you'll see that they're incredibly good at aiming. Guns literally have no recoil when you're watching it. So I'm not sure how that's gonna work with PlayStation, Xbox, with Switch. But yeah, it's exciting to see, and it's great for EA to be doing getting crossplay into their games. Need for Speed Heat actually has that crossplay already. It's the first game they announced earlier this week to have crossplay, and that is out now. So next we got to Sims 4. Sims 4 is now available on Steam. So this is a whole lineup of games that EA bringing to Steam, and that was just another one that they're bringing across. We have Hazelight's new game, which is called It Takes Two. So It Takes Two is the third game for Joseph Fares's studio. That follows on from A Way Out and Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. It's a co-op action adventure platform that will blow your effing mind away, as the words he used. So it's about it follows a child whose parents are divorcing. To cope, she creates imaginary versions of them who must work together to make it through the story. So it should be quite a heart-grabbing story. So that'd be interesting. So if you played Way Out, and that had a really good story in the game. That was obviously played in 2-player form. So that was something new and quite enjoyable. So next we had so these are all EA studios that EA give money to these smaller studios to be able to make these games. I do believe I read that EA don't actually make money on these games, which I found quite interesting. So the next one we had Zoink Games announce Lost in Random. So it's a game that takes place in the world of Random, a dark kingdom where every citizen's future is determined by a roll of a dice. So this is going to be launched in 2021. There wasn't really much more to go on that information-wise. The art style looked pretty cool, so it's definitely worth checking that out. Then we had Rocket Arena, the 3v3 rocket game. So this is a multiplayer arena based of just rockets, basically. If you do come across the trailer, you might actually recognise the game from I think it was like E3 last year, and it was originally EA had nothing to do with the game, but it obviously helped funded the company now, and obviously give that studio a place to promote their game, which is great, of course. But yeah, it looks like a fun game. Always with multiplayer games, will they take off? Will the player base die in that? But obviously, if it's going to get cross-play in that, it's obviously going to help the player base and help the game grow. And it looks very fun. So moving on to the bigger game, which we call for this year from EA, we had Star Wars Squadrons. So Star Wars Squadrons was revealed on Monday in like a little teaser trailer. And then we saw bits of gameplay at EA Play. So this is not a full priced launch game. So this game is coming out at $34.99. That's in pounds, and it will feature a full campaign and multiplayer. And the interesting bit about the campaign is that so you create a character on like the good side and like the dark side, and you sort of play the story on each side, so you get to experience each side of the story, if that makes sense. So the campaign will have players assuming the role of both a New Republic pilot and Imperial fighter pilot as part of the Vanguard and Titan squadrons, respectively. The multiplayer will include modes like Dogfight and All-Out 5v5 battle and the signature mode Fleet Battles. Fleet Battles features multiple phases and begins at a social hub that allows for strategic planning. Then players will enter a battle that begins with Dogfight in the middle of the map. It then transitions to one of the teams attacking the enemy's medium-sized capital ship before finally taking the battle to the enemy's flagships. So there's a bit more, I think it's more of a class-based mode, that one. So sort of like Overwatch, but in space. Well, it sounds really interesting, and I'd like to see how that works out in the final piece of the game. I also know the game is in first person, and it will also support VR on PC and on PlayStation. So it's great to see big games like this taking VR and still using it. There was a Star Wars VR demo, when was that? Years and years ago now, 2015, 2016. It's a free demo on the PlayStation Store if you wanted to try it out, and it's very good. And just to add on to that, there will be no microtransactions into the game. So moving on, we had a EA Sports montage trailer which featured Madden 21 and FIFA 21. That was a bit of a poor trailer, if I'm going to be honest. You sort of had a couple of little clips from Madden, a couple of little clips from FIFA, and then the rest of that wasn't actual gameplay or anything. It was just random bits of the sport. Yeah, nothing, no information was brought out on that. But I did later look on Twitter that FIFA and Madden, so if you buy it on the PS4 or the Xbox One, you get a free upgrade to the PS5, Xbox One X series, and you will also get your Ultimate Team carried over as well as Volta. So Volta, yeah, does make a way back into FIFA 21. So before we go on to next year's projects, I also wanted to say that they finally announced the new Skate game. Obviously, a lot of fans are demanding that game, and they weren't sure if it was ever going to happen. And then finally, we got the big reveal that they're making a Skate game. We had no information on it, of course, no trailers. But obviously, it's not going to be coming out this year, so you can expect it to be on next-gen platforms, and it'll benefit of all the new features that the current or the next-gen consoles will have. So yeah, that's obviously exciting to have a new Skate game. Will it be Skate 4? Or maybe it just be called Skate, or some other sort of name will be involved in that somewhere. So finally, we have a teaser trailer that I'll play, or more of a tech teaser, should we call it? And it featured, even though the titles weren't involved it featured a Dragon Age game, a Battlefield game, and a Need for Speed game. And obviously they look very impressive. So there's a bit of destruction in the battlefield and the big, massive fighting and that going on, which look really cool. So you can expect like big, maybe like single player battles and battlefields and that. Need for Speed graphics that they were showing looked pretty realistic. I don't know how that'll look in the final product, but if it looked like that, I'll be shocked. And obviously we had a little bit of Dragon Age, so you can still see a little bit of the world and how that's coming along. Look quite dark. But yeah, it looks exciting, and that's something we can look forward to next June in E3.
Generation shifts are an opportunity to push beyond the boundaries of gaming as we know it today, and this time is no different. Our studios are taking their crazy ambitious ideas and making them real. Criterion is known for how their games feel. From superior physics to nuanced details of gameplay, this team hand curates the moment-to-moment experience. And with the new consoles this year, there will be a seamless immersion which will get you into the race in a matter of seconds. BioWare imagines and creates worlds where you become the hero of your own story. And we're using this next generation of technology to make those fantasy worlds your reality. For every console generation, DICE sets the bar for excellence in audio and visual presentation. We are creating epic battles at a scale and fidelity unlike anything you've experienced before. At Motive, we are working on a highly ambitious and innovative new game that puts the power and creativity in your hands. And it's an experience that would have been impossible without next-gen technology.
So next on our list, we have the new Fortnite Chapter 2 Season 3 Battle Pass and Season. So this season is more focused around water, and the map's obviously been flooded now. So we have sharks patrolling the oceans that you can actually use to ride, which is pretty cool. We have new vehicles, which like muscle cars, trucks and that look quite fun. We have obviously the new Battle Pass with loads more skins, including Aquaman, the DC Aquaman. Obviously they're carrying on with that DC theme we've seen with Harley Quinn and Batman. So it's cool that they're obviously you getting the Marvel and the DC in one game, which is really cool. Also in the Battle Pass we have Build Umbrella. So in this, you'll be able to, like last season, where you could create your own character. This season, you'll be able to create your own umbrella, we call it, which you come down on. So you get loads of options and that, including like a little burger on top or like a duck. And then like the pole you actually hold can be like a telescope and stuff like that. And of course, you can change the colours and that. So that's exciting. You'll be able to give you that customization again this season. Maybe they'll carry that on next season or something else. Yeah, obviously glider. That was what it's called, glider. Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, including the Battle Pass, you get the 1,500 bonus V-Bucks, which would obviously you can buy next season's Battle Pass, or perhaps you want to buy a skin in the store. All new wraps, and new back bling. That's sort of it, really. They didn't introduce any major gameplay changes. Obviously, we had that event last week. Well, it started this week, actually, where you had the sort of like the parallel universe changing and stuff. And then we had like the big water storm around the map, which was cool. So they actually changed the whole gameplay. So you couldn't actually fight in the storm. You could only swim in it. I did see a lot of negative feedback on social media about that. But yeah, that's sort of the season, really. Personally, I don't think it's as great as previous seasons. The skins in the store, obviously the skins look cool, but the skins don't really relate to the season as such. I mean, a couple of do, like Aquaman, that's obviously water related, but yeah, apart from that, they don't really. You couldn't tell they're from this season, should we say. But yeah, obviously it's free to play. Check it out, see if you like it. It might be your thing. So our final news of the day is a bit of a disappointing one for big fans of CD Projekt Red, but Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed. So I have a brief description of what they've posted on social media. We've decided to move the launch of Cyberpunk 2077 from September the 17th to November the 19th, which is a Thursday. So I don't know if they're going to stick to a Thursday launch or might be on the 20th. I'm not sure how that'll work. Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready. Ready when it's done. It's not just a phrase we say because it sounds right. It's something we live by even when we know we'll take the heat for it. At the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs our trust, and trading for trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite we think it's the right decision in the game, we'd still like to apologise for making you wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did this and what we did. So it obviously goes on to say that they've completed all the main quests, the cutscenes, the skills, items all in the game. But I think it's just more of they're going through the game now, fixing all the bugs, polishing it, and just making it that big game that we're all anticipating, really. So obviously, it makes sense. You don't want a game coming out that's all buggy and just obviously you wouldn't be able to enjoy it. It's not the same. Obviously, pushing it back to November, it of course links in with like next gen consoles, and they have said that you'll be able to play. So if you buy the PS4 copy or the Xbox copy, you get the PS5 and the Xbox Series X copy for free, and you'll be able to play them at that time on them consoles. So we won't have to go back to this console generation to play it, which is good. The only thing on that is it'll use the console performance will boost the game in certain capacities, but it won't have that true next gen upgrade till next year. So obviously you'll be able to play the game, complete the game and such, and then obviously next year it'll probably come with a bit of DLC and that, and you can hop back into the game and obviously experience that true next gen feel to Cyberpunk. So yeah, it's good that you have to play it straight off the bat on next gen. I would have thought that it was going to be too hard to be able to roll on like PS4 and the Xbox One. But yeah, nevertheless, hopefully the game's great and I look forward to it. So finally, we have just some events for next week for you to check out. So on Monday at 4, so these are all UK times. So at 4 o'clock, we have the Summer Game Fest Developer Showcase. So this is a new game reveal and a bit of a developer talk about it. There is links to that being a Crash Bandicoot 4 game. I've seen a lot of posts about that today, so it could be that, it could not be, but you can expect a Crash Bandicoot game coming. On the Tuesday, we have a new game plus Expedition. That is at 4 o'clock as well. Wednesday, we have Marvel's Avengers War Table. So we'll get another deep dive into the Marvel Avengers game coming in September. So that'd be exciting. That's actually meant to last 2 hours as well. So expect a real good deep dive of that. So that's 5 till 7. Then on Thursday, has no time yet, we will get another look at Cyberpunk 2077. So obviously we'll be able to see what they're working on. So that'd be great. And it'll just like probably make us more excited for the actual launch in November. I'm sure we'll see new quests, new features in the game, new items you can unlock and stuff. So that's something to look forward to. And then on Saturday at 4, we have Bit Summit Gaiden. So that is a look at upcoming Japanese independent games. So that'd be like indie games and that developed by Japanese studios and stuff. That could be quite exciting, seeing what sort of new and funky games they're creating. And then just moving on to the daily deals. So back to the Epic's Game Store this week, we have Pathway and Escapist 2 free to own forever. So again, Epic Games are carrying on that deal where you're getting these free games to keep forever, and it seems to be like a new one every week. So that's really cool to see. And then I just wanted to include on PlayStation, you have Greedfall for £15.74. So that's reduced from £44. That's quite a big 65% off sale. Bearing in mind that is a PlayStation Plus deal, so you have to have PlayStation Plus to be able to get this sale. So this is being, obviously, a game was developed by Focus Home Interactive, and it's obviously a deep, rich RPG experience. It's obviously, they've done Vampire in that, but they've never actually done this proper RPG world, and it had some really good reviews when it came out. So just a brief description: explore uncharted new lands as you set foot on a remote island, seeping with magic and filled with riches, lost secrets and fantastic creatures. Forge this new world destiny as you befriend or betray companions and entire factions. With diplomacy, deception and force, become part of a living, evolving world, influence its course and shape your story. Engage in a core role-playing experience, achieve quests and complete objectives in a multitude of different ways through combat, diplomacy, deception or stealth. So there you go. That's a big game for £15 that you'll be able to play over the weekend, over the course of next week. Obviously, Last of Us Part 2 come out today, which is exciting. I've put 2 hours into that so far, and I can tell you it's fantastic. I got the controller actually as well, and the controller's very nice. So yeah, if you're on PlayStation, you've probably heard of Last of Us Part 2, but I'd definitely check it out. But obviously be careful of spoilers online, on like YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, things like that. And also be careful in streams if you're watching them on Twitch or any other games, because people like to ruin the game, and you really don't want to ruin it for yourself. So if you can, just go ahead and play it, and then you'll be able to just free look around at other people think about the game and that. And apart from that, really, that's everything. So next week we'll be able to cover all the new game reveals that will be announced in some of them events. We'll be able to talk about Cyberpunk, we'll talk about Marvel Avengers, which are 2 big games coming out. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.